But Easter is always one of those goofy holidays because you're not sure how to take it. It's like you got a horn, right? But you're asking yourself, do I, in this frame of thought, like I play, and on this end of the horn you go, and you know, so you got the taps over here, you get the celebration over here, and you go, I'm somewhere in the middle. Like I get both. And in my own world, and hopefully in your world too, you see Jesus as a sibling because we're all God's kids. And so when I look at Easter, there's, I guess I personalize it, I internalize it because I grew up with this tall hippie guy. And, you know, so maybe look for just a moment like, man, on one side, just when my brother passed away. He was taken from us too young, 33. Actually, all of us, our older brother, and we're older than he got to be. He was taken from us so soon. That's my brother. And he really started to blossom towards the end. It was like the last couple of years he started doing stuff. What else could he have done? What else could he have said? We can think that about anybody who's left our lives. But then at the same token, you get to hear the other side. And the other side is, he came back to life. In the same body. Well, that's pretty cool. Nobody else can say that. Now it says that on the third day, he rose again. In the Bible, it talks a lot about Jesus being the way shower, being the, if I can do it, you can do it. There is nothing that I can do that you cannot do. I think about how to apply this day into my life, how to apply this day into your life. If I look at what was Jesus trying to teach us. Now, we've all had bad days, right? Some of us have had really, really bad days, like a really bad day, like nobody else on the planet can relate to this kind of bad day. Bad day. We've all had them. None of us ever went through what Jesus went through up on the cross. So my guess is he had a worse day than all of us did at some point. But to look at what did he do with it? And how can we apply that? Now let's take the death part out of it just for a moment. Say a dude went into a cave and hung out with God for about 3 days. Just shut himself off from the world. Said, I had a really bad day. All kinds of bad day. I'm going to shut out the world for about 3 days. Go into my room, go into my cave, and talk with God. No distractions. No TV, no internet, no phones, no work, no nothing is as important as turning the corner from this really bad day into a new life. And at the end of that, at the end of the third day, rolled that stone away and came out of the cave. Now sometimes we can forget to go into the cave altogether because we're just too darn busy. So this thing that would be a 3-day worth of communing with God, a 3-day worth of healing, we end up dragging out to 10 years because we didn't have time to take 3 days. Anybody else? Now, or we go into the cave, no problem. Coming back out of the cave, we kind of forget to do. Once we get into that cave, sometimes it's just comfy there. Let's just stay in that cave. Let's just stay hidden. And the other part of the message is to roll the stone away, to come back out after 3 days. And Mary's meditation, where it talked about a part of yourself dying, we all went, ooh, sober thoughts. Go to our own graves and lay down crosses. And that's big time heavy stuff. Well, sometimes life is a big time heavy place if we let it. And other times, not so much. The same way that in the meditation we laid that cross down, how many things have we carried with us through life? Things that don't even apply anymore. Things from our childhood. Things from our adolescence or from our first relationship or our first marriage or our first this or our first that or our strongest this or our biggest that. That we don't have to carry. We don't have to carry. We can set it down whenever we want. We're given the free will from God to lay it down whenever we want to. What the power that has, to lay it down whenever we want to. Now what do we gain from holding on to it? It's like the ego talking to us. The ego saying, no, but this is me. This is my story. This is why I am who I am because of this stuff that happened, good or bad. But if I lay it down, then who am I? Who am I without my story? Who am I without my cross? How many times when we meet somebody new, or even when we're getting to know someone we love on a deeper level, that we say, here's my cross. Ooh, that's pretty cool, look at mine. Well, yours is bigger than mine, and mine's thicker than yours, and this is heavier than that. What good do we get out of it? Martyrdom? But I persevered. I don't know about y'all, but if we're going to say, hey, after church, let's all go to the beach and let's go play in the water, it would be a lot more fun without carrying 4x4s with us and dragging it along the sand. It'd be a lot more fun day if we laid all of our crosses down. We said, woo, let's go play. Here's the ball that I passed it to you. You pass it. We're playing and we're splashing like little kids. Life is more fun. What is the ego? Someone once told me that the ego was an acronym that stood for edging God out. But it's part of our identity. I was once at a wealth management seminar, and the person up front said, people are always asking how I can do this. I've got all this debt and all this stuff and all these things and all this stuff, and how can I get out of it? He said, if you're in a hole and you don't want to be, first thing, stop digging. Seems pretty simple. Then he said, the same shovel that dug the hole is the same shovel that can dig you out. Just instead of throwing it out, grab it out and put it right under your feet. And step up on it and do a little more, and you'll rise back out. It's not the shovel's fault. Quit digging, change direction. Boom, done. Pretty easy stuff. We've been given the free will to do this. If you could have your old self die in order to resurrect your new self, yourself without baggage, without your cross, would you be willing to lay it down? If God appeared right in the middle of this room, looked you right in the eye, looked you right in your heart, right in your soul, and said, are you willing to lay down your story to be free? I'll take it. You don't have to carry it anymore. Would you lay your cross down? Would you take off your backpack full of boulders that define your ego and allow your spirit to be free? A couple things during the Easter story that always stand out to me. When Jesus was on the cross, and he was talking with God, he said, forgive them, they know not what they do. I think of all of us like this. As we carry around these crosses, we carry around these backpacks full of heavy rocks of our story that we don't even want. I think, silly humans. Every one of us, silly humans. Forgive us, we know not what we do. We don't even know why we're carrying around this big bag of rocks. Didn't like it anyway. Just don't know where to put it down. I'm afraid that we wouldn't know who we were if we did. But we can. To me, this is a day of letting yourself free. The other thing is faith. We put so much emphasis onto our stuff, onto our should-dos. Every circumstance you have ever had in your entire life, God has seen you through. From the darkest days, as that song, to the brightest, darkest nights, brightest days. Bang. Saw you through all of it. Saw me through all of it. How many times do we say, but I'm a slave to this thing that I don't want, that's preventing me from having this thing that I do want. That's silly. Silly humans. Every one of us. Silly humans, some different way. And it's not that we're bad. And it's not that we're not educated in this thing. But it's like the difference between, some point today, show of hands, who's going to an Easter dinner? There's going to be food laid out, and we look at it and we go, oh, that's beautiful, and I know what that's turkey, and that's angel eggs, and that's this, and that's ham, and that's these things, and we know what all the stuff on the table is, right? Did any of us show up, look at the table, and go, wow, that is beautiful, I know what all that is. Smells great. Okay, bye. No, we eat it. We eat it. It's the same thing with metaphysical principles, with metaphysical teachings. We have this full buffet table laid out for us. Forgiveness, empowerment, laying down the cross, visualizing what you want, allowing yourself to have it. The entire universe consorting and combining for your success. And how often we go, wow, I know what that is, I know what that is, and I know what that is, and I know what that is. But see, I've got this stuff going on, and this stuff I have, that I've got this job, and I've got this finance, and I've got this thing, and I can't do my stuff because even though I believe in all that stuff that's on the table, and it's really good, and I know it, I've got my stuff, and I'm not going to eat that food. Well, that's silly. Silly humans. We put it right down and take some of these and look at that. Right? It's getting to enjoy that what's been laid out for us. It's having the faith that God's actually going to do God's job. That we don't have to do and strategize and have this great long plan of this stuff to get rid of the stuff we don't want, to have the stuff that we do want, to be the person we want to be, just by laying down our old story. Every teacher throughout history has said, on some way and some level, if you do what you do, God will do what God does. Kind of simplifying it, but it makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. It's just having the faith to do it. Putting the ego in check. Letting the spirit be free. And living the life that you want to live. I've got this little thing that, anybody ever heard of this dude called Dr. Seuss? Mm-hmm. Right? Let's see what we can learn from the good doctor. We call that a professional.